Welcome back to another episode of Aussie Bucking. Today, Tyson and I are in the bee yard again today. So this is our third day pulling honey. So it's been a pretty harrowing experience, Tyson. We've pulled a lot of honey, and we were that slow with my little 4-frame excluder, or not excluder, but extractor, that we had to purchase another one. So we got a 12-frame, which is back in the honey house or the shed. So we'll show that later. But yeah, it's been a good season for honey pulling, but through winter I lost 40 hives. I was keeping them alive by feeding my what I call my babies, which is the single ones which don't produce honey. All the bigger ones, they all went through, not too bad, but all the younger ones, they all died off slowly by bloody hive beetle. So I kept feeding them, but there was that bad of conditions that it was just impossible to get down here. It was running that much. We had some ridiculous rain again and long periods of cloudy, rubbishy weather and fairly cold. So the hive beetle down here are filthy, bad. So it's been unfortunate, but this is what sort of beekeeping's about. But our honey production has been unbelievable. Maybe the 40 we lost has put strength into the 60 that's left here. So that may be a factor that there's more flowers per bee here, and they've done really well. But we've so far in a couple of days or 2 days off and on pulled about 500 kgs of honey off with Tyson and I, a little tiny operation. But it's been fairly hard yakka, muscle aches and sores, so not quite used to that sort of thing. But yeah, so enjoy the video. We'll take you through, and yeah, we'll start pulling some frames out. What's the date today? Do you have any idea?
No.
I know it's October, but what is it? About the 16th, something like that?
No, it's 16th.
We don't really know.
14th.
Somewhere in there anyway. But it's been cool weather. But these are all the nurses in here now. They've been quite good this morning so far. But yesterday afternoon we got touched up real bad by them. It was drizzly, rainy, terrible weather in the afternoon. And we had a lot of our foragers back, and they were being fairly nasty this morning. It's very nice. Full honey. Look at the bird came off again. Try not to kill the bees if we can. And the honey frames have been absolutely awesome. Really full. Probably a little bit overdue on some of them, but this one here, these are worth the weight in gold. I've got to get more of them, but I find vinyl. I used to use these insulated ones here, which you can get anywhere from shed builders or builders or hardware stores, but I reckon vinyl is better than they tear it apart, but the vinyl they don't. But it keeps them down and stops them from building into the lid. When they build in the lid, it just becomes a big mess and it stirs them up, and they don't like it. So first frame now. This one here, gentle out. There you go. Just get rid of my smoke between my legs. Just do a jump in the front. No queen up here, just excluded down the bottom. Then we've got this little container here. This is Tyson's job later on. I'll show you back again. His job is, he's got a job and I've got a job. Get a jumpy. Leave a little smoke on them, but you can handle that. Yours has been cooler weather. It's been hard to break the wax out of that frame. It makes it just a bit tougher. Another nice frame. Beautiful, beautiful honey. We back onto the Belthorpe National Park. Just show them Tyson the back there. And we're very lucky. We've got all this beautiful, beautiful trees, all natives around us, and our honey is very, very good. People who buy it off us, they always come back for more and saying it's always the best honey they've ever tasted. But Every beekeeper says that, of course. Jump at the front again. Back into here. I'll do a few for you, and then I'll swap over what Tyson's got to do. I use plastic frames. I find them very, very good. And I find them very, very good. I just don't think that, though. I know, because I've got some tin ones still in here, and you've got to be very careful pulling out when they're very tight like that. This one here, they didn't get quite right. So still a lot of honey there. And this side here, for some reason, I didn't fill that out. But that happens also in timber frames too. So where they don't produce all over for some strange reason. But wherever it's not, you show them there, Tyson, wherever it's not touching or fill the other side, they make up over here. So I wish most, I reckon probably 90% are absolutely perfect with these plastic frames. But we've had such a hard time with bad weather since I've been down this area for 3 years now, 4 years actually, with my bees. There's a lot to learn. There's a little sting there, which happens. I'm there and trying to get it out. It's nice and slow. There it is. So I've had to start going to plastic boxes. Brand are they, Tyson? New Plus something? Like that. Not really good with all the branding stuff, but they're very good. Tyson can put them together. There's one over there, Tyson. Show them there. I've been losing that many timber boxes, and I do them right. Put them in. I coat the inside, coat the outside twice, and I do every joint in paint, and it's a good quality paint. But I just keep losing them. The timber is not as good as it used to be. I'm finding. I've got old boxes here, so I've numbered them way back. I've stopped numbering them now, sort of thing. But back I was doing 14 the other day, and it was perfect. But then I'd do like a 90 or something like that, or a 70. And it's rotting away already. So, not good. So I'm just going to have to start going to all plastic now. And it's not much more expensive when you put in the fact that you've got to put them all together. Well, it takes long to put them together. You've got to paint them. You've got the screws to deal with. Screwing it all together. You've got to screw the other ones together too. But like, it's a lot more work in getting them done. Tyson, how fast can you build them in? It's that tight there, see? Let's move over to timber here. They're very, very tight this morning. These frames, the pressure is unbelievable. See a mark in there? Trying to relieve them out. So, Tyson, how fast can you do a
5 minutes.
5 minutes? You can do a box in 5 minutes. That's a super. That's not a whole box. I've really crushed that one trying to get out. That's how tight that is. That's what my muscles have been sore for a couple of days now because they've been very tight. The temperature's what's the temperature today, Tyson?
20.
20. Yes, that's foolish, you know what I mean? That one there they haven't quite filled out, but it would be right to go. It would be the right content. Oh, sorry, girl. We'll cut that out. So it'd be right with the right content for that to extract that out. No problem at all. There we go. Down one more layer. This is Tyson's job. He's just cleaning the last of the bees up off the frames. We don't want to have our shed full of bees. So Tyson just a little tiny wipe to fit the rest of them off gently as we can, and he stacks them into, say, picking the whole box up when they're weighing about 30 or 40 kgs each box. It's a fairly big chore for us doing it all manual. Mechanical will be great, but we are what's called sideliner beekeepers, so this is the way you've got to do it on a budget. Muscle instead of machine. And this is our process. Backward and forwards. Biggest thing when you do brush them off with a bit of water, it keeps them nice and calm, stop them flying back at you. It stirs them up a little bit with that brush, but we do gentle, but the water sort of slows them down a fair bit, but you can't walk back on the spot where you've dumped them. That's a big rule. They love climbing up your legs and getting you that way. Not many on the ground here, you can see. I've shaken them out the front. But here's one we've done before this morning. This little bunch here. It's on the ground there. And this one here is, I put a little sticky on here. She was a 2 brood high. I did 2 splits with her. She was full of brood at the front. So always make sure that, because I look for the queen, but I make sure that I come back here and have a real good look for the queen in case I missed her when I shook the frames off. And I have found them. It's always good to just go back and have a look for that queen in case you did dump her. There's a drone if anyone's wondering. It's a drone. Where am I? There. So, got sticky fingers, and there's a high beetle here. Yeah, that broke, dead high beetle. No, it's not. So, just make sure that you look back again. Girls with pollen coming back in want to go back into their hive, just full of pollen. We've got stringy bark flowering right now, and we've got some gums flowering, and then we've got the bloodwood coming up next. It's just budding now, just starting to show a bud. But they'll settle in, sure enough. The rest have. And I found out too, I've worked out after 4 years of beekeeping down here, I'm going to go to a single brood box. I find that they don't need doubles down here. It's too good environment, except for the bloody wind is horrible. But when I do 2, there's just too much wastage with honey. She doesn't need that big 2 brood box, but what I've left is some of them to do splits on later on when the season's getting quietened down with honey. I'm going to do some splits and feed my babies up, but leave the parent enough to keep the brood in the single box going. So lots of honey, lots of pollen in the single box, and hopefully get through winter. Just a matter of monitoring how the winter's going and what's around. It has been horrible down here since I've been here. But this may be the life of a beekeeper in the area. There. I got more at Mount Bingo. My son bought a property at Mount Bingo, and I got more up there. I've got to go there today and sort them out and get the honey off them and super up for with some stickies. So yeah, back into the shed next time or soon to do some. Tyson's working. Do some extracting. So back in the honey house now. So Tyson's just decapping the frames. This is what we've always used. We use our little de-waxer here, but we boil the water in it. It fixes the little roller up and doesn't get it all plugged up. Works really well. People criticise these things, but I don't know anything better without having a proper machine to decap it all, which is very expensive. This is the new extractor. Unfortunately, a 12 frame, but all we could find at a sort of a price we'd like to pay for it, which is quite a bit really, but it's Chinese, so running my old girl too, the old 4 frame. It's a good quality one. It's a licensed one, but it extracts differently. The frames go against here, and it just obviously throws out that way, which works really, really well. But the biggest problem when it is a bit cool, the honey won't flow out properly, and it drags on the bottom of it. The frames drag, and it's a pain in the bum. So and slows everything down. So we were forced to buy this one here, which I thought wasn't big enough for a start. We thought that little gate here would not be big enough, but it has not let us down. It flows out beautiful. It extracts good. It's got 4 reverse. It can go both ways with the switching here. We started off slow, so I'm still loading it up with stickies now. But it is a bit of a bugger to load up, because there's not much room between here and there. So, but it's just a matter of getting used to it. It's been a godsend to us. This one has been our 3rd day extracting with this, so we've got to know it pretty well. So a couple more frames in there, we'll spin him for you and see what it looks like. So here we go, she's full. This one is full, my Chinese one. The lady we brought it off, she's got one for 12 months now, and she reckons it's a really good thing. So with 12 months warranty on it, has no name to it, but we call it the red-legged honey eater. That's what we've called it. So it does eat up honey. So here we go. Sorry, wrong way. Start. It's got 1 and 2, so we start on 1, so we know we're up to. See, it says 1 and 2. So we do it one way on 1, and 2 we always know where we're up to. We're running about here for a start to get him running. It's wobbling a bit, so it's running back a little bit. It's a bit uneven for a start. There's a fair bit of honey in here. You hear the honey hitting the sides. That much comes out, it actually starts dragging on the sides, so you can't get it too quick for a start. It cost us $2,400. Anyone wondering? It's been a saviour to us, this honey extract. Hey Tyson. He's happy, loves beekeeping. So turn a bit more of that. I think it runs about 300 revs. That's obviously that's the centre of that 300. Out further it'd be the same, but it's yeah, it's further out. Centrifugal force. So let him run like that for a second. We'll get this little girl going. This has done a lot of work, this little extractor. Anyone thinking of buying one of these who haven't got too many hives, say up to about 50 or 60, 50 hives, it'll do the job really good. But when you get over a bit more than that, it becomes a chore, but it extracts really good. Basic little setup. Back about 8 years ago, it cost me I think $1,400. I don't know what they're worth now. No, less than that. It cost me about $1,000, but now they're about $1,400. That's inflation for you. That's COVID tax. You name it, it's got it. And if anyone's wondering if we got varroa mite yet, we haven't got varroa mite yet. I keep checking all the time to see if we have. All our hives are still very healthy, but there will come a time, because as everyone knows, who does know, varroa mite is in Australia now. It's causing a fair bit of wobble, a bit unsteady this one. So I don't know really how to steady it out. It's if it's a couple of big ones go on one side, it gets pretty bad, but generally it's not this bad. Yeah, so varroa mite. will be on its way, but nothing as yet, and I hope we never ever get it. Not looking forward to that part of beekeeping. Nice and clean. Doesn't take much for the girls to repair this back again, I find. Using knives and that sort of thing, it's fairly abrasive, it just gets right into it and you can't get everything with a knife, but these ones you get everything. Nice and clean. So we've had our first breakdown. The new Chinese extractor has broken. One of these little support rods, I suppose you could call them. They're just like, not welded, but they're actually just spot welded. Probably do a fusion, however they do that, but it's broken. So I could hear a little snapping noise inside. I said, what the hell was that? And shut it down. That's what I found. So I hope they don't keep breaking, but I'm going to have to repair it, put a little tack of weld in there. But for now, I'm going to put a zip tie over here just to hold it until I get it all cleaned out with all the honey, and put a zip tie into here to hold it. Yeah, so first one, we'll see how it goes for the next couple of days. So I hope you enjoyed the video that we've done this year's honey pull for 2024. So I hope you get something out of it, to learn something out of it, or just help you in the smallest of ways to do something easier or do something better in your beekeeping, whatever you do with beekeeping. And like and subscribe, and see you next round.